gangsters are very prissy. George Soros becomes the headline in criminal stories. He's out. He's still their good friend. They said so, but he's out. They asked Rupert Murdoch, the biggest owner of newspapers throughout the world, to try to talk the major newspapers in Europe out of covering Bilderberg. They failed miserably. Rupert Murdoch they may have done a little help, I don't know, but major newspapers some major newspapers, but a lot of local independent newspapers and broadcasters are hitting it hard.
Well, Jim, you know the King, the #1 news website in the world, Drudge Report, is linked to our reports, the video of our interview with you, with our links to American Free Press. So it is being covered, and it is outraging. And I want to bring this up to you. MSNBC has written a whitewash, and CNBC has written a whitewash saying, oh, Bilderberg's real, but it has no power. BBC's done the same thing. So the New York Times just 3 years ago said I was delusional, that they didn't meet in Chantilly, and that I was literally having hallucinations and imagining that they were there. That's how dumb they think their readers are. What do you think of this tactic, Jim? Of course, you were there with me. What do you think of this? We were thrown out by police, but it doesn't exist. What do you think of this tactic that they're really pushing now, from going and saying it doesn't exist to saying, yes, it exists, but it doesn't have any power?
Well, that's why they want their friendly press to say when they're forced to cover something. They're just a bunch of innocent virgins just having a polite little meeting, and all of these conspiracy theorists have got it all wrong. Well, as I've told you so many times, I am not a conspiracy theorist. I recognize conspiracy fact. Unless Webster's dictionary is wrong, it is a conspiracy, whether you want to call it good or bad. But it's also, as you know, a violation of the Logan Act. And yet yet they persist. As you know, the Logan Act has said that public officials, federal officials, cannot meet behind closed doors with private citizens to make public policy. They can meet with each other without anybody from the outside, certainly war tactics and so forth. It's illegal. Now, apologists say, well, the Logan Act was passed in 1797.
But you got Hillary dinged for it yourself in the mid-'90s.
Yeah, she attended the Bilderberg meeting as First Lady down in Georgia, Lake Lanier. And all the staffers there, not all of them, but many of the staffers said, they were very excited, said, Hillary Clinton's here. I said, that's not possible. Oh, First Lady could not possibly be attending. Bill Clinton attended as the obscure governor of Arkansas and was elected president a year later. But no, she was definitely there. I was sure of it when I got back to Washington. And as I may have told you before, I called the White House First Lady's press office.
And you buffaloed them and said, I'm going with it, and they had to admit it after they lied to you. Yeah, we told that story. Now, Jim, a few more minutes. We appreciate your time and your incredible work. Perhaps you'll be able to pop back in with more tomorrow, and then obviously next week when you get back. You told us a few days ago Bilderberg is outraged by the coverage, outraged by the Patriot movement. Jim, do you have anything else on that?
Chester, there's more outrage, and they're saying so louder and louder. And you read the names of a lot of these turkeys, including some Americans, who have expressed their great anger at the commoners are forcing this coverage and forcing these headlines. We'll have a lot more to say about it next week. I'm looking forward to it as usual.
All right, Jim, and again, there's more tomorrow. We want to try to get you to pop in, but obviously next week. What do you think of my idea to call on all Europeans, instead of just protesting in their major capitals, the bought and paid for politician puppets, to actually go to St. Moritz Saturday at high noon from all over Switzerland, all over Europe, from France, from Germany, from Italy, from Austria, all just a few hours away, to go there and to have a massive demonstration instead of something spontaneous like Woodstock, Liberty Stock, and this could really put another nail in Bilderberg. This could have them be completely blown wide open politically and force this into an international story, Jim. What do you think of that idea, and will you join me in calling for all patriots to be part of history and to converge right now on St. Moritz, Saturday high noon?
Absolutely, I will, and you'll be glad to know that there's people over here calling for patriots in Europe and the former East Bloc countries like Romania and so forth to come here, and Poland to come here and protest.
Yes.
They're calling for it very loudly. It's in the newspapers over here, too.
Yes, because they're being raped by them. Well, it's Saturday high noon. We need to have everybody there at once. There's some other smaller protests tomorrow, but everybody needs to be part of history, get in their cars now, and get to that location. Jim Tucker, thank you so much. And please hand the phone back to Aaron Dykes or Paul Watson, Infowars.com reporters. And hopefully we can get you to pop back in for 10 minutes tomorrow with any new intel. And we'll all watch AmericanFreePress.net for the latest developments. Thank you, Jim.
Very good. Enjoyed it.
All right, enjoyed having you. Amazing. Jim Tucker was in good form there, and a really dogged reporter doing a great job with the only person who's 100% been proven to have absolute, total, multiple moles inside. I mean, he's got a Bilderberg member. He's got assistants. He's got it all. He is absolutely incredible. And time again, what he has broken down, sometimes years before, what exactly is going to happen, because these people do steer the planet. They don't totally control it. They're trying to set up an open world government to control it. Did they disconnect, or do I have Aaron Dykes? Aaron?
Sure. I'm right here, Alex.
I'm going to come back to you in about a minute. But go over to Tucker, try to nail him down for like 11:08 tomorrow with you guys, if it works. If not, let's nail him down. Is Mark Anderson, also that writes for American Free Press, is he floating around there?
He's not in the immediate area, Alex. We'll have to track him down later. He may be at the hotel, actually, a few blocks away, where they've staged a press area. A lot of people have been sharing photos and information.
All right, great job, Aaron. Aaron, any other thoughts on the huge bombshells that Jim Tucker was just dropping on us?
I wasn't able to actually hear him. I was sitting a little bit away. But, of course, we're trying to find out as much as we can, Alex. I don't know what more to add at this point.
Well, Aaron, you've done a great job, so get back into the location, go watch the airport and also the hotel, and we'll talk to you coming out in the last 30 minutes of the third hour, and so that's about an hour and 45 minutes from now, or a little bit less. We'll be talking to you and Paul Watson with the latest developments, and be safe, my friend.
All right, thanks, Alex.
All right, great job to Aaron and Paul and Jim, and great job to the crew here as well, Kurt and Emmo, everybody. This is amazing. Now, what I want to do is I want to go to break here in a few minutes, and I'm going to come back and cover a bunch of other news. You know what, I'm going to finish up on the big protest Saturday and some other Bilderberg news, and then I'm going to get into all of the other news that we've got here in front of us. There's just so much amazing news dealing with cows that have human genetics in their udders to produce human breast milk. We told you about this a decade ago, but now it's mainstream news. Now it's headed to your store shelves. And we've also got really positive news. Federal judges are signaling that they're going to completely overturn the Obama health care law. The LA Times and others are reporting. We've also got a lot of economic news we're going to be going over, and also military news. New York Times headline, U.S. is intensifying a secret campaign of Yemen airstrikes. I mean, they are really trying to start World War III. That's what a world war is. There's a whole bunch of countries involved in multiple regions. Central Asia, North Africa, Middle East. U.S. forces for a decade battling in Colombia over the cocaine. And the average American isn't even aware this is going on, and it's not our government, it's not our military. It's been overtaken, it's directed by these scallywags at Bilderberg, inside Bilderberg. And it is so important for everyone to be part of this mass demonstration of liberty lovers to identify the real globalists, the real problem, not their puppets in their governments, but the actual rulers. And you've got the equivalent of a member of Congress calling for Kissinger's arrest in Switzerland. You heard Jim saying it's in the papers that the prime minister is saying they don't need to be there and that it's destroying Swiss sovereignty. and other ministers calling for them to not meet there. And we've got 2 days now to get the word out via Twitter, the web, to everybody to converge on St. Moritz, high noon, the 11th. We are back live, my friends. We are going to open the phones up for Europeans, Swiss, anybody in Western, Eastern Europe, Greece, Ireland, being affected by the open austerity moves. Now, let me explain how this works. And it's all on record. This is not my opinion. These global banksters come in, they finance the campaigns of their politicians. They set this up over decades. They come in, they get the politicians to have the country sign on to invest the pension funds in derivatives that are completely worthless, total fraud paper. And on the way up financially, the banksters then make trillions. Then on the way down, it endangers the entire economic system, everybody's pension funds, 401ks, stock market portfolio, everything. And they say in Europe and the United States, it's the same in every country, give us tens of trillions. Let us secretly give it to whoever we want. Not even Congress or Parliament can be told. And we will keep the economic order going. And then Congress in 2008 said in October, no, we're not going to do that. And so they had all the heads of the Treasury and the Federal Reserve come out and say, we're going to have a total depression, blood in the streets, everything's going to collapse. And the stock market fell by almost 1,000 points. And Congress, held hostage with the financial terrorism, said, okay, we will give you a blank check. And we haven't gotten a new number in a year, so we only have 2 years of numbers for the U.S. $27 trillion was given to these people, and almost all of it is secret. Some lawsuits by Bloomberg and others found out that trillions of it went overseas. Hundreds of millions to MSNBC. The Federal Reserve itself is paying money to thousands of newspapers. They're buying people off. These are criminals. That they don't control the entire press. That's why they want to shut down talk radio with the Fairness Doctrine. They want a Fairness Doctrine for the Internet. That's been openly announced. They're now pushing it. They've got all these new cybersecurity acts they're trying to get through that have the teeth to enforce this in there. This is the takeover by the crooks. And they are meeting right now in St. Moritz. And they're so scared of you, they're not meeting in a big capital like they normally do. They are hiding out in the middle of nowhere, 2 hours from any major city, in the middle of the mountains of Switzerland. But you can get there. It's good roads. They got trains that get to very close by. They have trains that stop there. And it's the off-season, so there's plenty of hotels and things in the village available. Whatever, sleep in your car, it doesn't matter. Or drive in, get there in the morning on Saturday, have the protest, get back in your car, and drive back into the nearest city. But you got Eastern Europe to the east. You've got Western Europe to the south, to the north, and to the west. And we've got tens of millions of people all around this area. If you go to Alexa.com and other major stat systems, Google Analytics, you see that Infowars.com is rated as the 400th and something biggest website in the U.S. In some of these European countries, we're rated in the top 100. So we have listeners in Europe, a lot of them, listening over global shortwave, satellite, internet. And I want to hear from you coming up as I go through other news into the next hour. Then Katherine Albrecht is going to be joining us in the first 30 minutes of the next hour. And then we have, of course, our reporters from Bilderberg joining us in the last 30 minutes. So stay with us for that. But even if you can't go, if you live in Africa, you live in Japan, you live in China, you live in Mexico, you live in Chile, all you got to do is go to Twitter, YouTube, Google. Everybody make YouTube videos. Everybody go to Twitter. Everybody go to Facebook, YouTube. Make your own videos and say, go to St. Moritz, go to St. Moritz. Free humanity peacefully marches on Bilderberg. If we get 10,000 people there, it is going to be one of the biggest stories in the world, the people actually protesting the globalist instead of the puppets, and then that idea will spread. We're targeting the real enemy, the real controllers. Think about how incredibly disgusting this is. You have the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Queen of the Netherlands, representatives of the Queen of England, all of these big oil company heads, the heads of the top banks in the planet, the people that have created the derivatives, the people that have bought off our politicians worldwide. 2 years ago, they came in and openly bought off the Greek government, put their president in, put their finance minister in. You look at countries all over the world, they got Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, former people in the revolving door working inside the major governments as the finance ministers, the presidents, the prime ministers.